Welcome to IHIP News. Pumps, what you got?
Well, I wanted to bring up the Imaginary Committee, DOGE, today. And because of the United Healthcare assassination, we have had a lot of discussions about healthcare. And something that I found very interesting is this is what Vivek Ramaswamy said about Elon Musk before they were together as the co-chairs of DOGE.
I think Tesla is increasingly beholden to China. I have no reason to think that Elon won't jump like a circus monkey when Xi Jinping calls in the hour of need.
Elon Musk has, I think, demonstrated his willingness to change his political tunes based on the favors that he gets to be able to do business in China.
I think some of his recent comments about Taiwan suggest as much, where he says that Taiwan should become a special administrative region of China, annexed to China. Well, guess what? He got a nice attaboy on the back, a little pat on the back, when his Shanghai factory and regulator in China gave him a nice little tax break within days after him having made that comment about Taiwan.
So that is our co-chair of the Imaginary Committee, DOGE. And so now, as with everybody in the Trump orbit, you don't like somebody, you say bad things about him, and then you are just bestie friends. So now, yesterday, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy went to Congress, and they were lobbying about their cuts to the budget because they're getting rid of anything that needs cuts. And so after they met with Republican leaders, John Thune, who is the incoming Speaker of the Majority Leader of the House, he said they were soon to announce plans to cut Social Security. And so then it ran on Fox News, which I was surprised about, that they're letting everybody know what the plan is. Kylie, show what they were playing on Fox News.
Nothing is sacrosanct. Nothing. They're going to put everything on the table.
That's what they told lawmakers. Everything is on the table, and that includes Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
So I'm like, you're going to, and here, okay, explain this to me like I'm 5. Republicans call Social Security an entitlement. My basic understanding of the premise is that money is taken from your paycheck throughout the course of your working life. And then based on that, you receive compensation based on what you put in. Is that right?
Yes.
So why is it an entitlement? Because you've put the money into the fund.
It's the same reason they call abortion murder. It's all from the same playbook. And I'm 0% surprised that Republicans are going to go after Social Security, because I was 0% surprised that they overturned Roe. Mm-hmm. They have shown us for decades who they are. They have been chomping at the bit to go after Social Security, and they finally have the most heartless administration that will allow them to do it. They have 5 billionaires in the cabinet. They finally can say, yes, we're all in for profits. Let's dick over everybody else because they're all drinking the Kool-Aid, the base. It won't matter what we do. Our leader can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody will give a shit. So it's always been this type of branding to demonize the poor and demonize working class people. And they have messaged it to where they have people that will vote against their own self-interest. Millions of people that voted for him are on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, et cetera. And they voted against their interests because the Republicans have been messaging this for decades. The demonization of the poor has been one of their most successful messaging machines, aside from the abortion issue.
The irony to me is that we have all these billionaires in the cabinet. We've got the Dozers. You know, Elon Musk is the single richest person in the world. We know Elon Musk made a lot of his money from government subsidies. But for them to sit in judgment and call Social Security an entitlement, and people that live paycheck to paycheck on Social Security that barely get by, that they are saying you don't need the money that you put in. I find it to be so disgusting and so cruel. I just find the whole thing cruel that they do not care about what's going on in somebody's life that's not a billionaire. It's not shocking to me that that's what they're doing, but I just find it abhorrent, the whole thing top to bottom. And so the other things that were mentioned in the things they were going to cut were veterans health care, which I feel like veterans are always on the chopping block for the Republicans. They're pro-military, yay, 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 military, military. And yet when servicemen come home and need care, they don't give a shit. I mean, that's just like a common theme that I've noticed in my lifetime. And then we have the National Institute for Health, that's on the chopping block, which is like research, Alzheimer's research, that kind of thing. And then Pell Grants, so lower income people can go to college. That's on the chopping block, among others. And then Head Start. I mean, it comes back to they want the public to be dumb. Because when you're dumb, you cannot critically think and realize that who you're voting for is actually not doing anything for you. And it really, I was really sad when I heard all this. I really was.
I have been sad about the Republican exploitation of the general American public for profits for a really, really, really long time. And they have been echoing and messaging that they wanted to go after all of these things for decades. It really started with Ronald Reagan, and he wanted to give massive tax breaks to the rich. And since that time, you've seen the shrinking of the middle class, and you've seen the explosion of wealth at the top, and then a lot more people in poverty. And this demonizing of people that receive social services or that are on Social Security, they see that as a missed opportunity for them to profit from it, just like the health insurance companies. It's a place for them to profit from, not help people, profit from. So they want to take out just the help that Social Security provides because it's billions and billions of dollars. And they're like, oh, wait, we're missing an opportunity here. We need to profit from it, because the one thing that American culture has taught people is capitalism and profits are right up here at the very top of the list. These are the things that we value the most, and they value individualism over collectivism. This is not sustainable. It's not a sustainable system for our country, and that's why we're in the decline of the American empire, because we value profits over everything else. Think about the most conservative Republican Christians that you know. When they say they're going to vote for Trump, what do they mention?
Money, taxes, economy.
Yes, because they value that over their moral principles that they allegedly get from their faith. And because Christianity is inherently such a, at least where the part of the country that we live in, is such a individual. Jesus loves you. Jesus is your personal savior. God changed the light from red to yellow to slow you down, and all of these little magic tricks that are going on. It's the perfect audience to recruit into this individualistic society. And so they are able to recruit them in by saying, oh, this is, it's all about you, screw the poor people, screw the sick people. And so I think when the autopsy is done on all of this, the death of America is just this greed. And then you get this dumbed down American public that's really religious to fall prey to all of these things. You never hear, ever. You never hear these big Jesus freak politicians like Mike Johnson talk about healthcare.
Oh, giving it to people. No.
You never hear him talk about the poor. You never hear any of this stuff. Our governor of our state is the biggest Bible thumper on the planet, Kevin Stitt. And I always go over and look at his Twitter. It's all about business and profits and shaving programs. He never, ever talks about helping the poor, helping the needy, helping the sick. If anything, there's a demonization of people that need these services and that need assistance or they need help. And instead of having empathy for them, the Republican Party has successfully demonized them. And then they've taken it a step further. They've recruited them to vote for them. Seriously. I mean, that's what's happened.
They get an A+.
Totally.
For how they've messaged it, how they've dolled it all up and wrapped it up in a bow, because these people fucking are buying it, and they're the ones that are going to suffer the most.
Because they scare the shit out of them with this, oh, send your kids to school. The woke liberals are whacking wieners, and then, they're executing babies. And, these drag queens are going ape shit bananas with your kids, trying to read books to them. And, oh my God, we got to ban these books. And they get them all riled up on all of this bullshit. Total bullshit, because the end game is Elon Musk, Vivek, and all these other billionaires to be more enriched by exploitation of the masses.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's a perfect segue, because I just wanted to bring in your weekly update of how big of a nut Nancy Mace is. I mean, she is a nut. She has gone crazy on this bathroom deal. I have never seen anybody on planet Earth that gives a shit more about who's peeing next to her. I mean, she is so crazy that, I mean, South Carolina should be proud. I mean, she's in the Florida, Oklahoma area of crazy representatives in Congress. Here's what she did yesterday.
All right, so some tranny protesters showed up at the Capitol today to protest my bathroom bill, but they got arrested, poor things. So I have a message for the protesters who got arrested. You ready? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
The slur that she uses at the beginning of that is abhorrent and just unacceptable. But here's the deal. You said at the beginning of that, I've never seen a bigger nut, blah, blah, blah. I have.
Well, there's probably lots.
And in our community, a friend of mine was campaigning very hard to for a female Democrat that was running for governor here. And somebody found out that she was working on this campaign and sent her a text. And she said, yes, I'm supporting her because I support women's rights, blah, blah, blah. This woman that lives in our community, whom you know, sends back a scroller of a text about transgender people, about drag queen workshops for children. This is 2 years ago. A woman that lives in Oklahoma is wound up like a cheap clock because she believes that there is this grand conspiracy that transgender people have united with drag queens who have also united with the gay agenda to try to somehow convert children to be transgender gay drag queens, I guess. That's what the conspiracy is. And to this woman, it was very real. She wanted to invite the other person to go have coffee to discuss this pressing issue in the state of Oklahoma, which is all bullshit. But the reason that Nancy Mace continues to talk about this and continues to do this is what she's doing isn't just happening in a vacuum. She's getting likes, retweets. There's a whole cult named QAnon that's all chips in on all of this stuff. And FYI, guess who's so excited about Kash Patel's appointment? The most excited people.
Who?
QAnon.
Oh, of course. But I thought you were going to say Russia. I mean, it could go either way.
QAnon. They are so excited about this. And so Nancy Mace is a representative of millions of Americans that have been radicalized to think that these amorphous things like drag queens and transgender people are charging after children. Meanwhile, I can give you rock solid evidence as to where child predation occurs. And most of the time, it occurs in churches.
That's right.
Call me crazy, but I mean, come on. But Nancy Mace, the reason she keeps doing this is because she keeps getting the clout, the internet clout for doing it, because millions of Americans like this shit.
They do, and that's what's so scary. Just a pop quiz before we go. You would think that there are hundreds of millions of transgender people running around trying to take over the world. Do you know what percentage of the U.S. population is trans?
Yes.
What is it?
1%.
Is that not crazy, the disproportionate false equivalence of all this?
Well, and I just want to say to any transgender people or people that know somebody that is trans, I am so sorry.
Sorry.
Mean, it's hard enough to be an adult and to be a human. And then you have all of these rabid, crazy Bible thumpers that are deranged coming after you. And the people who have trans kids, which we know a wonderful couple that has a beautiful trans daughter, and they have to live in Oklahoma in this horrific space where people say, oh, we're all about kids. Mm-hmm. We're all about Jesus. We're all about family values. But our side project is we like to bully the shit out of anybody that's gay, trans, drag queen, wants to have premarital sex, on and on and on and on. And so it's really, really sad. But for some reason, this has taken a hold of the cult population of the American public that buys into all this crap. And the majority of them, I'm just going to say it, the majority of them are hardcore Bible thumpers. The woman that we're talking about, nut job crazy Christian. I mean, whacked out Bible thumper beyond comprehension.
Certainly the evidence that we have living in Oklahoma is 100% says that.
I've always found the more open-minded, accepting people in my life are not that overtly psychotically religious. And so, I mean, I think we're long past due to address the crazy Christian issue in the United States. And hopefully there's a politician with balls enough to address it.
Well, let's hope.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
It's so